Hey, I'm Aja A, and welcome to Sunshine Haze. Don't forget to check out all the links that I have listed down in the description box, and if you like the video, please give me a little thumbs up. If you have any questions after the video is over, feel free to drop them down below. I try to respond to everyone. And if you all know people interested in astrology, numerology, tarot, or whatever I'm talking about on this channel, go on and send them this link. And don't forget to hit subscribe. And of course, thanks for tuning in and rocking with me. May this info help y'all live your best lives. Peace. Hey y'all, welcome back to SunshinehazeCo. I am Aja A. This is your Virgo new moon video. Check me out. I'm here on time with the new moon video. I'm not 3 days late like normal, like usual. So this is your new moon video for this next lunar cycle starting today, started this morning. Let's just jump right into it. What's a new moon? This happens when the moon is conjunct the sun, meaning the side of the moon that is facing us is not illuminated. It appears as if it's not in the sky. So energetically speaking, we're looking at a time of new beginnings. As I said, it starts the lunar cycle, looking at a time of new beginnings, fresh starts, a little bit of mystery, and also dealing with heightened intuition, as we have to rely on our intuition to maneuver through these times because we don't necessarily know what's going on. We're at the beginning of the lunar cycle. Okay, and this time around, I'm sorry, y'all, just every video, my chair makes noise. I don't know how to fix it, so it's just gonna make the noise. But this time around, we are in the Virgo lunar cycle. We're deep in Virgo solar season. Happy birthday to the Virgos. But we are now starting the lunar cycle, so the Virgo energy is coming in pretty strong. Virgo is the virgin in the zodiac. Virgo represents purity. So we're going to be dealing with that Virgo virgin energy throughout these next 4 weeks, throughout the next month, until we get into the Scorpio, no, Libra. Till we get into the Libra lunar cycle. I was like, oh, I don't know that I'm prepared for Scorpio just yet. But we got a little baby break before Scorpio. We got Libra before Scorpio. So we'll have this Virgo new moon, this Virgo lunar cycle, this Virgo down energy throughout the next month, going into the beginning of, just kidding, I'm sorry, we're talking about the new moon. Why do I have that written like that? Going through the middle of October. Sorry, y'all. I hate when I mess up my notes. I'm realizing that I wrote a full moon for the new moon, and I gotta fix that. So yeah, new moon was today. Started at 7 o'clock in the morning, and that's Eastern Standard Time. So wherever you are, you can do your calculations to see where the energy was popping for you and at what time. The moon happened, or the new moon happened in 25 degrees, which I will talk about the numerology coming up a little bit later on in the video, okay? So let's get down to it. I was talking about Virgo because that's the energy that we'll be working with. So if you know anything about Virgo, like I said, Virgo is the virgin. If you know any Virgos, you know they are an earth sign, so they do carry very practical energy. Virgo is known for being very analytical. Virgo is also known for being kind of reserved, you know, and patient. And Virgos are also very diligent, which is an earth sign trait. But Virgos do tap in a little bit stronger with that diligence. Okay, so with this Virgo energy and us being at a point in the lunar cycle to where we are starting things over, that's not what I wanted to say. I was gonna say starting anew and starting fresh, but the words collided in my head and I couldn't figure out how to get the sentence out. Very Virgo. Y'all know Virgo is the Mercury sign. Mercury has Virgo and Gemini, I believe. And so communicative things happening, and all the words trying to come out of my mouth right now. Very Virgo. But so let's get into what we are really going to be looking at dealing with this Virgo energy for the next month. The first note that I have here points to purity, and I don't want to, when I say purity in regards to astrology, listen, y'all, I am not talking about like vanilla, like no excitement, prudence. I'm talking about the true essence of things. So for us during this lunar cycle, especially when we're dealing with the shadow, and also look at your chart and see how things are transiting over your personal chart, because that can give you some insight into how these and when these energies are actually going to be hitting you the strongest. So dealing with purity, there is this sense of, you know, getting back to our true purpose. And because we're dealing with an earth gosh, I cannot talk. Because we're dealing with an earth sign, we could be looking at things that are tangible. So getting back to the true purpose of our career, looking at what it is that we do. Are we, you know, say you are working a job that, you know, you don't necessarily know how you ended up there, but it's your job. But being in this space and dealing with this Virgo energy, you're going to be looking at, you know, well, does my energy really align with this? Is this something that I'm really called to? And if you are, looking at maybe how these things have progressed to where they may have taken you away from what your initial intentions were, what your initial goals were in regards to these things. I was thinking about a piece that I wrote. You guys know when I tell you, I'm about to tell you a story, but it's an analogy for the Virgo new moon, but you're going to be like, what? So you guys know I'm a writer. I wrote a piece literally yesterday or the day before about the new Iron Man comic. Yes. And I'm not going to give too many spoilers, but in the new Iron Man comic, the new Tony Stark, the AI Tony Stark, he really wants to get back to the basics, and that's what we're looking at with this Virgo moon. You'll see, if you're into comics like that, or if you're into Marvel like that, you'll see his new suit and be like, wow, this is very retro, this is very classic Iron Man. And with that issue, there is this sense of, you know, returning to what the purpose is of whatever it is that you're doing. So, you know, with the Iron Man suit analogy, you know, getting back to the basics instead of all the bells and the whistles and the gadgets and all the extra lasers and, you know, the come to me Iron Man shit. There is this, you know, he takes the suit out of a briefcase. So there is this sense of getting back into this space to working on or working towards what we really, truly, honestly desire, as opposed to working on making the thing bigger, making the thing better, making the thing more appealing. No, we're not so much focused on that right now. We are more so focused on, well, what is the thing? What was I doing in the first place, and why was I doing this thing in the first place? And that's what I'm going to be focused on during this time. So that could be coming in strong for you, like I said, by way of your career. It could be coming in by way of your finances. And keep in mind that we have Saturn coming out of retrograde in Capricorn very shortly here, in I think about a week or so. And so there is this, and we have Mars in retrograde in Aries. So there is this air of, you know, really fixing things. Like, the best way I could put it is fixing things and doing things the right way and doing things for the right reason. So that energy of purity coming with the sign of Virgo is touching, you know, what are we doing right now, and are we truly aligned with it? And if we are truly aligned with it, how can we make it more authentic, and how can we make it more reflective of the purpose that we intended? Okay, so next point that I have coming, and this is my favorite one, make it make sense. I have been saying this a lot in the past couple of weeks, especially in my readings, and you know what, I wasn't even thinking about it. I was like, oh, why is everybody crazy? Why is everybody doing wild shit? Because there's so much astrological stuff popping off. But also, we're coming into Virgo, so the things that were completely illogical, the things that just were not it, we're coming to the forefront because we're coming into a space to where we get to correct these things, so to speak, okay? So again, going back into that earth energy, we are looking at tangible things, foundational things, and where we need to clean house and make changes. Keep in mind that Virgo is mutable. This is the sign wrapping up the summer season. It's the summer mutable sign. It is the mutable earth sign. And so this is the sign that comes in with the energy to wrap things up, to prepare us for and bring us into the next chapter, okay? We're going into the season of change. So there are some things here that are not going to fly as we go into this energy of shifting things for ourselves and getting ready to really wrap up, because, you know, we go into the season of change to really figure out what no longer serves us, so we can throw it out in the winter and prepare when we get coming into the spring for all the new things, right? But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. But so talking about Virgo wrapping up the summer and, you know, making things make sense, there is this energy of, okay, especially in regards to getting back, putting that purity Virgo energy on the things, getting back to being in alignment with what the true purpose is, the true calling of these things are, right? These things are, you're coming into this space to where you're like, okay, well, whatever the true calling and the true purpose is, has the work that I've been doing really, really put me into a space where that makes sense? Let's go for another analogy. The apple pie analogy has been pretty successful, so let's use that one again. You know, going back to that first point, getting back to the authenticity of the goals and the plans. And if you watch a couple of the videos that I just recently put out, I'm talking about, you know, your goal being wanting to make a bomb ass apple pie. Okay, you want to make this really poppin' apple pie that you can eat with some ice cream and some whipped cream, and it's just like, you know, homemade apple pie. And that is your purpose. That's your goal right now. You want this apple pie. You want it to be so poppin'. You want people to be like, so good. Give me another plate. I need to take home. I need to take home a plate of this. Can you bake me an apple pie? You want this apple pie to be like my sweet potato pies. Okay. Ask my friends about them. So you want to make this pie, right? And if I don't know what video I was talking about it, but I was talking about adding shit into the pie that doesn't make sense, trying to make it bigger, trying to make it better, because you saw on Pinterest that, oh, this gives the apple pie a kick, it's gonna, people are gonna love it, it's gonna be a smash, right? So you start adding in all this shit that doesn't make sense. You put in prunes and you guys got to go watch the other videos. You're putting prunes and carrots and raisins and like other weird shit into your apple pie, and the apple pie is not coming out good. It's not tasty. It's not, nobody wants you to bake them one, okay? So what we're dealing with right now, I was gonna say Virgo, but y'all are not all Virgos. What we're dealing with right now, the energy that is coming in strong for us, is looking at the things that we desire, the apple pie, the bomb popping apple pie, and looking at how we've been approaching it. And if our approach is logical, does it make sense to put carrots in an apple pie? It does not. How can you justify this? You cannot. So do away with that. You're cleaning house. Make it make sense. And that is very Virgo. Curl fall, I mean. Make it make sense. Okay, well, the carrot doesn't work, so let's just go back to square one. Go back to what the real apple pie recipe is and Virgo down on that and make a poppin' apple pie that people want you to bake for them, okay? So the things that we're doing during this next month, especially if they are closely related to these goals that you have set up for yourself, closely related to the things that you want to see come in for yourself. If you're doing things that are not beneficial to achieving this particular goal, I still can't find the curl that fell on me. If you're doing things that just really are not beneficial to achieving these goals, you'll have these epiphanies, you'll have these aha moments to where you're like, oh, that's not gonna work. That doesn't make sense. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna do what makes sense over here. Virgo new moon. So hop on that train when it rides past, because especially with everything going on in the world, and specifically everything going on in the States right now, like it's a lot of that doesn't make sense going on, but people really just buckling and grinding down into these things that do not make any kind of sense. So I'm actually excited for this Virgo lunar cycle coming in, especially for this Virgo new moon, because there's going to be a lot of realizations and a lot of, reworking some things, reworking some plans, all right? And my last note specifically for the Virgo energy is getting down to the nitty-gritty. Virgo is earth. And like I said, Virgo is all organizational. Virgo likes to analyze things. Virgo likes to really see how things work, why they work, how they work, and how to keep them working. And so that is what we're coming into, right? And I say this a lot with these energies. I talk about manifestation. I talk about your intentions, but you're not going to see results with just thinking and manifesting and writing intentions. Okay. That's a big component, or prayer. But you're not going to see things with just all of those aspects put into it. You have to put in the work. You have to do the work. You actually have to get your hands dirty, dig your feet down into the soil and make something happen. Change does not come without action. And people, for some reason, seem to think that the things that they want are just going to appear to them on a silver platter. And sometimes they do. Sometimes they do. I'm not saying that they don't, but more often than not, that's not how it goes. More often than not, in order to achieve your goals, in order to get the things that you want, the things that you desire, you have to do the work that's going to put you in a place to, you know, make those opportunities for yourself or open those doors for yourselves, okay? So do the work, perfect some things during this lunar cycle. I talked about, you know, getting back to this space of being in alignment with your goals and also making it make sense. So once you figure out what makes sense for you, once you figure out what you're actually being called to or what you actually want, then you need to buckle down and do the work. Please put your children inside. Why is your child screaming at the time? Like, I'm not understanding. I close my windows before I do these videos because people are loud, and why is there a screaming child? And it's not like a crying child. It sounds like a child having fun, but like, go home. Y'all hear that? Y'all probably didn't hear that, but I heard that. Anyways, so we are in a space to where we're doing the work for the things that we want. And we do have some retrogrades happening. This is not necessarily the time to really, you know, really take a lot of action, but this is definitely the time to plan your course of action and start planting the seeds that are going to help you maneuver along that path along the way, okay? So really buckle down and look at where work needs to be done, look at how work needs to be done, and then look at how you can actually achieve the goals that you set up for yourself, or actually make it to those destinations that you have, you know, pinned on a map for yourself a while ago. But like I said, just keep in mind that things don't happen unless you make them happen. So with all the thinking, and yes, your words and your thoughts are very powerful. That lays the tone. That sets the tone for the energy, okay? You still got to do the work. You still got to make moves. You still got to make something happen. Make something shake. You cannot... Listen, go talk to some of your Virgo friends, especially your successful Virgo friends, and they will tell you you will hear in that conversation so much, oh, hard work. I worked really hard. I had to do this. I had to do this. I had to take action here. I had to physically do this. So this lunar cycle, although we got all this retrograde energy and all these things going crazy right now, more so about planning your course of action, more so about making sure your course of action makes sense. But you can, you know, you can start to get your feet a little wet. You know, you can kind of start to pitter patter along the pail. Just, you know, just be mindful of everything else that's going on. But you just know you got to do some work if you want to see some change come through. Nothing's going to happen if you don't will for it to happen, okay? And if you don't actually work on that will. All right. Okay, very quickly on the shadow side of Virgo, Virgos are very critical. They can be stubborn. They tend to overthink, overanalyze things. They can be very worrisome. And then just because they are Earth, they are also known for being very blunt. Because they are ruled by Mercury, Virgos are one of the signs that I will say can rip you to shreds with their tongue. So be mindful of how you're speaking and how you're interacting with people during this month or during this lunar cycle or during whenever these transits hit your chart the strongest. Also be mindful of how people are communicating with you. Not to say, you know, just let things slide, but keep in mind that some of the rude things that may be said to you may not always come from the person that's saying it 100%. Like, it's just a very blunt, a very straight and to the point energy that we're dealing with here, and people don't have time for games, and that's really what's going on. That's why that working hard energy is coming up so strong. There is no time for games, and so there's also that coming in the way that people communicate, in the way that people are acting. Again, we're dealing with the moon here, so there's the emotional aspect, and although Earth is not necessarily known for being very, you know, emotional, when they are emotionally triggered, they tend to respond with their mouths, and Earth signs are mean when they're mad. All right, take it from a rising Capricorn. And I have all of my siblings except for one are Capricorn. So listen, they not Virgos, but they are Earth, and trust me, and actually I know a few people with some Virgo placements. Like, when these people are mad, you don't want to be having a conversation with them. So just be mindful of those things, and then also be mindful about overthinking your process, because that is a shadow Virgo aspect. Listen, once you feel like you got a good plan, close that notebook, close the notebook, revisit it in a few weeks, because what you don't need to do is sit here and look at the plan and go, oh no, that doesn't work. Because what you're going to end up doing is that apple pie shit and putting raisins and carrots and shit into your apple pie, and we don't. Listen, I don't want it. I'm just going to put this out here. If you put anything into your apple pie other than apples, please stay away from me. That's disrespectful. Don't do that. Okay? Why you want to do that to apple pie? But all right, you guys, let's get back into this video. Very quickly, I do want to talk to you guys about the aspects, a couple of aspects hitting this lunation. The new moon will be trining Saturn in Capricorn, which comes in with this energy of responsibility and practicality in regards to our actions. And then we also have Saturn, which is in Capricorn, which throws it in the mix. Trining Mars, which is in Aries, but it's trining Mars. I'm sorry, squaring Mars, which brings in this energy of restriction and frustration in regards to our actions. And then we also have something called a quincunx, which is an inconjunct, which is the new moon, quincunx Mars, which brings in this realization of an imbalance in regards to our actions and our growth. So this forms what's called a dominant triangle in the astrological energies. And so this dominant triangle is really going to be bringing up the restrictions on our personal growth, in a way that it touches all aspects of our lives. This sounds like a heavy thing, right? But fear not, fret not. What's really happening during this month, especially with this Virgo analytical energy, what's going to be coming up is what is stopping us from progressing? What is stopping us from moving forward? What's stopping us from moving us into a more positive space and a more positive energy? And then once we acknowledge that, actually coming up with plans to start to fix that. So this dominant triangle, although it carries a little bit of a restrictive and a heavy energy, it's an equilateral triangle, so there's an even flow of energy. You just have to hit certain points before you actually get to that point of, oh, this is where we can release these restrictions, and then we can actually come into our growth and come into our progression. So, you know, our desires and our goals are coming in for us. We're just in a space to where right now we need to figure out what is really holding us back, and how to really get to where we want to be, okay? Let me take a sip, and then I'm going to talk to y'all about numerology, and then I'm going to call it a night, because, yeah. I'm not going to call it a night. I got things to do, but as far as this is concerned, I'm going to call it a night. So I mentioned earlier that this moon happened in, this moon happened in 25 degrees. So there is this energy of the number 2, harmony, balance, peace, cohesion, things coming together, coupled with the number 5, which is change, adapting to new situations, progressing into new energies, right? You're coming into new energies, into new places. I'm moving a lot. I can hear my chest like wiggling. It's making music over here. And so you've got those energies which break down into 7, which is all about philosophy, divinity, truth. So this is a divine time for us. We are wrapping some things up, reworking some things, going over some things in our heads in regards to the things that the new moon is bringing in for us, okay? You know, I said this a little bit earlier. I don't know what I was talking about, something with the energies, but the numerical energy associated with this moon brings in this aspect of a whole bunch of aha moments, a whole bunch of eureka moments. So over the next month, as I mentioned earlier, as we're looking at our goals, looking at our dreams, looking at our desires, there are going to be points where we're like, oh shit, I didn't realize that I could have been doing this the whole time and this would have been so successful. But keep in mind, what you want to do with those aha moments and instances is, once you have the acknowledgement, you want to sit down and really think out your course of action. Do not be impulsive. Do not give into the Mars Aries retrograde. Okay? Be Virgo. Virgo down. Think things through. All right? This moon happened on a 3-day, or today is a 3-day, which anytime I think of the 3-day, my favorite deck is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck. I think of the 3 of Wands, and it's like a picture of like 3 little wands that make a triangle, and you can see like all this color in the middle of the card through the triangle. So the energy that I like to give, the number 3, is the energy of manifestation, of planning ahead, of planning for the future. So with this Virgo energy and us reorganizing and, you know, buckling down, we are really in this space of putting the initial energy into actually achieving our goals, actually finding ourselves in spaces to where we are surrounded by everything that our hearts and our minds and our souls desire. So right now is the get the work together, get the plans together, positively manifest what it is that we want to see come in, because when we move into the next part of this energy, we want to be doing the work that is beneficial to the goals that we've set in place for ourselves, okay? So, you know, it's a manifestation month for us over here. Well, everywhere. But so over here, it's really going to be a manifestation month, okay? For this Virgo new moon, I really wanted to get into the elements for my rituals. So instead of smudging my stones and putting them in the window to charge underneath the moon and whatnot, I decided that I would actually rinse them, cleanse them. You know, Virgo energy is all about purity. So I typically rinse my stones maybe like once or twice a year. I typically just smudge them to cleanse them. So this is the time where we are doing the rinsing. It's important to know your stones and know which stones don't really do well with water. I'm pretty familiar with my stones, so I know that you can't keep them under there for too long. Really just running them under some cool running or lukewarm running water. And again, remember, everything is all about intention, just rinsing them and asking that all of the energies that they have absorbed be released. And then as I dry them, I'll sit them underneath my peace lily, my plant here, tapping into that earth energy, to let them charge underneath the Virgo lunar energy. I'll leave them sitting there overnight. And as always, I do my new moon rituals. And when we do the new moon rituals, it's important to be intentional in regards to the things that you are doing. This is not really a time of release, so you want to write intentions like I am, I do, I can, I have, things that you are actually positively manifesting. And then, as I always do, I read them out loud. I finish them up with a clause and a little prayer and put my book away and call it a day. I don't always do my rituals like that. I change them up from month to month depending on the energy, but I wanted to show you guys what I do with a little bit of earth energy and this new moon, and just how I'm feeling, you know, intuit things, how I'm a Cancer, I'm a water, everything. I just do however I'm feeling. All right, so you know, that's my Virgo new moon ritual. I didn't do my cards in this one because I just don't feel like doing them right now. So I will, and I'm not gonna rinse my cards underwater, but I will sit them by some plants to charge with a couple of stones, either tonight or tomorrow at some point during the shadow of the new moon. And so yeah, one other thing that I wanted to mention to you guys is that, that came out wild. One other thing that I wanted to mention to y'all is that this is a super moon, which means that the energy is just hella heightened, hella popping, hella intense. So just keep that in mind, especially with us wrapping up the summer, that the things that are coming in for us right now are very important. The work and the plans that we're working on right now are very important, and to give those things your energy, because this super moon energy is saying, hey, this is something that needs to be paid attention to. This is something that needs to be worked on in the physical. Okay? All right, y'all. That's all I got for you. Drop a couple of plugs. We had the Pisces full moon a couple of weeks ago. That energy is still pretty relevant. I'll have the Aries, oh gosh. I'll have the Aries full moon video coming up in a couple of weeks when we get closer to that time. We are now in the middle of September, so check out the September Pick a Card reading. And I do have the September monthlies for all of the signs up as well. Pretty good, like, pop-in messages for mostly everybody, most of the signs for September, so check those out. And as I mentioned several times in this video, we are smack dab in the middle of the retrograde cluster. I do have a retrograde series linked down below as well. For real, I would watch that Mars retrograde video, because that's what we are really dealing with right now. And I'll just go on and say that Mars is taking y'all out. Y'all tripping, so watch that video. Everybody tripping. Watch the Mars retrograde video, because y'all can use some insight. Oh, baby. I'm like, ooh. y'all are aggressive, including myself, but I'm trying to catch myself knowing that energy is happening. But yes, with all that being said, I am rambling now. Check out all the videos. Also check out my Etsy store, because why? Support Black businesses, support Black women. I have all the things that you could think of, not really, but I've got some things on there. Click the link so you can see what the things are. And happy Virgo lunar season. Happy birthday again to the Virgos, and I will catch y'all next time. Peace.